It's been called Ontario's deadliest highway, an 1,800-kilometer lifeline stretching from Toronto's urban sprawl to the remote edges of the province near the Manitoba border. Every year, Highway 11 claims lives in accidents that some say could have been prevented. Single lanes for long stretches, no barriers, transport trucks flying by, and if the weather turns, you're basically screwed. You see, budget cuts, neglect, and the harsh realities of northern geography have left communities along this highway feeling abandoned by the province they help sustain. And for many northern Ontarians, this isn't just another road, it's the only road, and it's failing them. So in this video, let's discuss Ontario's Highway 11, which many consider as the deadliest in all of Ontario and one of the deadliest in Canada. And as always, this is Ali, and welcome back to Urban Atlas. Highway 11 begins in the heart of Ontario's economic engine, that being Toronto. It then stretches northward through Barrie, skirting the edges of Muskoka Cottage Country and continuing through North Bay and Cochrane before taking a western turn towards Thunder Bay. It eventually terminates at the town of Rainy River along the Ontario and Minnesota border. Highway 11 and Highway 17 both act as the only two east-west highways in Northern Ontario, and thus they play an important role in providing access to and from many isolated communities in Northern Ontario. Construction of Highway 11 actually began back in the early 1920s, when Ontario looked north and saw potential, timber, minerals, as well as agricultural land. But the province needed a way to access these resources and connect isolated communities. And thus the highway wasn't built just for the people living in the north, it was built to extract what the north had to offer. By the middle of the 20th century, this highway had transformed Northern Ontario, opening up previously inaccessible areas to development and tourism. Small towns sprouted along its path, each with their own unique stories. And today, Highway 11 remains the economic backbone of Northern Ontario. Over 100 million in goods travel this route daily, lumber heading south, supplies heading north. It's safe to say that without this highway, the Northern Ontario economy couldn't function. Every community along this route depends on it for everything from food deliveries to access to healthcare. For many small towns, Highway 11 represents their connection to the wider world. When the highway suffers, so do they. And beyond economics, the highway serves as a critical infrastructure for education and healthcare. Many students travel significant distances to reach school, while patients in northern communities must be transported hundreds of kilometers for specialized medical care, all along Highway 11. But despite its importance, the highway faces serious challenges. In recent decades, more extreme weather has been taking place in this region, which is already known for its harsh conditions. You see, we're seeing more freeze-thaw cycles which destroy road surfaces faster, permafrost changes underneath roadbeds cause instability, and winter storms are becoming more unpredictable and severe. The maintenance needs have increased while funding hasn't kept pace. Some sections of Highway 11 haven't seen major refurbishment in over 25 years. And unlike southern highways, much of Highway 11 remains single lane in each direction, with very few passing opportunities. When slow-moving vehicles like transport trucks or farm equipment take to the road, dangerous passing becomes common. And we're seeing the results of impatient driving all too often. Head-on collisions at highway speeds are almost always fatal. Add in winter conditions or wildlife on the road and the risks just multiply. And another reason why this is one of the most dangerous highways is the isolation. Between some communities, there are stretches of over more than 100 kilometers without services. Cell phone coverage remains spotty, meaning a breakdown in winter can become life-threatening. In the last decade alone, hundreds of people have lost their lives on Highway 11, making it one of the deadliest stretches of road on a per-kilometer basis. The danger begins with the highway's design itself. It was built decades before modern safety standards, and thus the highway includes blind curves, unexpected elevation changes, and minimal shoulders in many sections. You see, the original engineers never intended to make this road handle today's volume or vehicle types. Heavy transport trucks now make up to 40% of the traffic. But the highway hasn't been substantially redesigned since the 1960s in many sections. Then there's the wildlife. Northern Ontario's forests harbor some of Canada's largest mammals, including moose, and weigh up to 700 kilograms. A collision with these animals is often catastrophic, and on many sections along Highway 11, there isn't proper fencing or wildlife bridges. Thus, the possibility of wildlife collisions remains high, especially at dawn and dusk. And then there's the weather. During the winter, this highway can transform into one of North America's most dangerous road conditions. In fact, many long-haul truck drivers consider Highway 11 the most dangerous road in North America, especially during the winter. And statistics back up that claim, as 70% of fatal accidents occur during the winter months. In fact, in some sections of Highway 11, accident rates are 6 times higher compared to other southern highways. The geography of the region also considerably impacts the driving conditions along this highway. The Lake Superior snow effect creates unique weather patterns along parts of Highway 11. Snow squalls can drop visibility to 0 in seconds and dump 30 centimeters in just hours. And like I previously mentioned, when accidents do happen, help is often desperately far away. The average emergency response exceeds 40 minutes in some sections, 4 times longer than most urban areas. Moreover, even the infrastructure itself is dangerous. Engineers have identified over 200 culverts and small bridges along this highway that have exceeded their design lifespan, creating risks for sudden collapse. Then there's the human factor. Highway 11's isolated stretches and minimal police presence have made it notorious for reckless driving. Drivers often claim that they have people tailgating them at over 110 kilometers an hour, and then making a dangerous pass on a blind curve. Speed enforcement data reveals alarming patterns, and one traffic study recorded that over 40% of vehicles were traveling at least 20 kilometers over the posted speed limit on certain stretches of this highway. In fact, police has documented street racing incidents, vehicles traveling in excess of 160 kilometers an hour, and truck drivers falsifying logbooks to cover excessive driving hours. And thus, fatigue is a major factor when it comes to commercial vehicle collisions. Despite these challenges, communities along Highway 11 aren't giving up. Local advocacy groups have pushed for more incremental improvements. These include more passing lanes, better winter maintenance, better cellular coverage along the route, and much more. And some progress has been made, but it's not nearly enough. Recent provincial announcements have promised over $230 million in upgrades over the next 5 years, focusing on the most dangerous sections. But both experts and locals claim that to bring up Highway 11 to modern safety standards, it would require billions, not millions. The question is whether Ontario values its northern communities enough to make that investment. Beyond the challenges, Highway 11 remains a route of extraordinary beauty and cultural significance. From the shores of Lake Nipissing to the boreal forest stretching towards the Minnesota border, the highway connects travelers to some of Ontario's most spectacular landscapes. And thus, moving forward, this highway will play a significant role in tourism in the area. You see, there's a growing interest in Northern Ontario tourism. People want authentic experiences, and Highway 11 communities can offer that. If we make the journey safe and more reliable, there's huge potential here. Now, there is a pilot project that will turn this highway into a 3-lane highway. This will take place over 2 different sections of Highway 11 located in the district of Nipissing. Now, this project aims to improve road safety and expand opportunities for economic growth and development in Northern Ontario. And thus, Highway 11 represents both Ontario's promise and its challenges, a lifeline for some and a deadly risk for others. Moving forward, as Ontario faces severe weather, economic transition, and demographic shifts, the future of this critical artery remains uncertain. But what is clear is that Highway 11 binds Northern Ontario together. And for these communities, it's just as important as any other highway in Canada. And as always, if you like content like this, remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already subscribed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.